In 2022, Nigeria experienced what was described as the worst flood disaster in a decade, as over 1.4 million people were displaced, over 603 persons were killed, and about 82,035 houses were damaged. Well, to speak more on ways to avert another flooding disaster, Yusuf Kelani, environmentalist, joins me now. It's good to have you join me. Now, the federal government has said it is taking proactive measures to avoid another disaster by carrying out sensitization and opening up blocked channels. Now, is this enough to reduce the levels of expected floods in the country?
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for having me again. The measure that the federal government is taking, it's one of the things that needs to be put in place. But in terms of putting things right, I think it's the least. It's so minor. Let me use that language. It's so minor in terms of the things that the federal government can put in place. We need to look at the causes of these things, and I don't think it is right when we come on here to talk about these things, probably when the rain starts, or when people begin to ask questions. It goes beyond that. The staff of the agency and even the federal government itself needs to go and look at the clips of the effect of the flooding of last year, so that we understand these things and know the things that we need to put in place. There are two major causes to these things. It's man-made and natural. Natural in the sense that when Mother Nature decides to bring down so much water, that I'm talking of rainfall now, when it is extremely huge rainfalls, and we have this flooding. But man-made in the sense that we need to look at what we as citizens, what we have done to the environment, what we have done to the floodplains. When you look at the clips, when you look at buildings, it doesn't show a clear town planning. People build around or along floodplains. These are some of the major measures that must be corrected. These are the things that the government must put in place to ensure that people do not build along floodplains. Houses, buildings, constructions along floodplains should be brought down. It should be clear, because if you block, when you have these huge rainfalls and the water cannot find its way, of course they come into our homes. There are floodplains that lead to rivers, that lead to like we have River Benue and River Niger meeting somewhere in the middle belt, and this is the crisis point. This is the particular location where you have people worst hit. Now, along the plains that lead to these rivers, there are confluences and other links, water channels. We see people build along that plain. We see people farm along the floodplain. So whenever we have huge rainfall, what do you expect? Of course, crops will be destroyed and homes will be affected, will be flooded. So the government needs to do more. It goes beyond clearing of the block drains, because if you are talking about block drains, you are talking of the cities like Lagos, with even Abuja, the cities. But one thing is to clear the drains. Another thing is to get the area, the demography. Let the place be prepared for this huge rainfall. So it goes beyond that. What the government is doing right now, it's like it's like the secondary approach. The primary approach, which is the major one, is to clear these plains.
Oh, I'm afraid I know you could go on, but that's how much we can take. On the news, environmentalist Yusuf Kelani, thank you very much for your time.